are you?
Good, how are you? Welcome in.
Great, thank you. You're here today with Living in Encinitas, and I have a special treat for you. We're here with Jeremy, the owner of Little Victory Wine Market on the 101. They're new on the 101, been here about 2 months, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about what they have in their wine shop, as well as help us select some fantastic wines that you can have at your holiday celebrations or be popular with the host when you bring these to your holiday celebrations. So this is Jeremy from Little Victory Wine Market.
Hi.
So Jeremy, tell us a little bit about what makes you guys unique.
Yeah, so I worked in the restaurant business for about 15 years. And for the majority of that, I was a beverage director. So I ran wine and cocktail programs mostly in Los Angeles. And my wife and I, we had a baby 2 years ago and moved down here. And we'd always had this idea of like, you know, once we had the baby to sort of phase out of the restaurant business.
Yep.
And so this is the idea we had talked about for a long time. And so we moved into this phase about 2 months ago. I mean, it's been a work in progress for well over a year, but for now it's, we opened September 15th.
Nice,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I know I had almost given up on wine, which is a tragedy
Yeah.
for a couple of years because I just was drinking a lot of California wines and just getting the headaches and just stuffiness.
Sure.
And then my family took a trip to Europe and we were in France and Spain and I was drinking the wine there daily and I had none of that. So it really opened my eyes to like natural wines and biodynamic farming. And so when I saw that you guys opened up and that's kind of what you have here, I was so excited to come check you guys out. So tell us a little bit about the wines you guys carry.
Yeah, so the wines that we carry lean in the direction of natural wine.
Okay.
Not everything, there is no like foundational definition of what natural wine is. I like to say it is wine that is have nothing added or has had nothing taken away. So generally like unfiltered wines and little to no sulfites added. The foundation for these grapes are all at minimum organic farming. And then as you mentioned, biodynamic farming, regenerative, sustainable, so forth. But the idea is just grapes.
Okay.
And a lot of people, I don't think, are totally aware of the things that are put into our wines a lot of the times. And I'm not, again, I'm no like zealot. I just like to present these in a way that, you know, try the wine, let me know, you know, come back, please. Like, you know, that's a big thing for us is also just to like, the wines speak for themselves.
Right.
You know, there are many different terminology we can use and a lot of different things we could say, but for the most part, I stand behind the wines.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to try a couple, which we're going to do in just a second. I'm curious about the name though, Little Victory Wine Market. Where did that come from?
So my wife and I, like neither of us grew up with a lot and we're both goal setters. And so the way we sort of chipped away at achieving our dreams was setting little victories, you know. And then when it came time to name the shop, we had the idea of little victories, but we liked it singular, little victory, kind of read a little better. So that's the route we ended up taking. So
I love that.
It's pretty literal, to be honest with you.
Awesome. I love that. Well, that's such a great story. And like I said, Jeremy's going to show us a couple of the wines that would be great for the holidays. My family likes to start off with a sparkling wine, so I asked him for a great sparkling wine suggestion. Plus I asked him, like, what's just a general, if I was gonna grab something, bring it to any holiday party, what would be a crowd pleaser? So these are the two we're gonna taste today, and you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so 2 wines, as you mentioned, starting off with something bubbly. This is a pet nat style wine, which has become popular in recent years as a style of winemaking that is sparkling but a touch softer, a bit more funky, and it kind of leans into that natural style. It is, here, let me pour a little bit for you first, actually.
Awesome.
Let's do that.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, right? Do a little taste too.
Perfect, thank you.
Actually kind of, let me be generous.
Perfect.
So, what you have here in your glass is Folicello, is the name of the producer. They're based out of Emilia Romagna. Trebbiano and Pinot Blanc are the 2 grapes that are in this, and this is totally natural. There's very little, if any, sulfites added before bottling, but otherwise, just grapes.
It's really good.
Very clean, softer bubbles. You get like lemon citrus.
Yeah.
You don't get any of those. A lot of times in champagne, you'll get a lot more like yeasty, bready notes, and this is more fresh, I would say. You get more citrus, like I said. And when you have things like, you know, we think of Thanksgiving, right? And there's like turkey, and there's potatoes, and there's, you know, stuffing, and there's all this food that gets covered in gravy. You don't want to try to pair with individual items. You can at times.
That makes sense.
But for the most part, you need something that's just kind of go with everything.
Right.
And so bubbles, especially stuff like this, freshens up your palate, gets you ready for the next bite. It's almost impossible to actually pair with everything you can. But
yeah, this is actually something I feel like you could drink with the meal. Like I said, typically we start off with the sparkling, but this you could definitely drink with the meal.
No, I would. This is something that would kind of work all the way through, and I think that for the next wine as well. They both are sort of universal in their qualities and what make them, something that's adaptable to food, especially food that's as diverse. I don't say diverse as Thanksgiving food, but as carb loaded
as many options as you're going to have as you're loading that
it's
huge
not exactly
plate.
Spice central.
And keep it light so you can have seconds.
As I slug that down.
Well, I'm gonna have to chug mine down because you gave me
I poured you too much, not
a
thinking
generous pour. That's okay.
Yeah,
I normally don't chug wine on camera, but I'm down to.
No, this was all a big setup to
down the hatch.
Sorry about that. But I will add to that, actually, it's only 12% alcohol.
Okay.
So a lot of the wines that we're used to are a bit stiffer. This here is meant for food, is meant to sip, not necessarily sip, but sip during the day, I guess is what I would say. So I'll be a bit more conservative in my pour here for this next one.
Well, this is our last one, so we can really go for it. So this is the crowd pleaser that you said would just be great to take to any holiday.
Yep. So what you see, especially these days with what we offer, is chilled wines, chilled red wines, being really popular. There's a sort of liveliness to them. There's a fruit component without that sort of tannin quality, and it's also something that pairs well with a lot of different foods. What I love about this, Le Lune is the name of the producer.
Oh, cool.
This
nice
is their
name.
Cosmic Blend, It is Sonoma County grapes. They are Sonoma County grapes. It's Cabernet, Merlot, Zinfandel, and Chardonnay. So what's cool about that, you'll see the inclusion of white grapes, which is something you'll see often in the Rhone Valley. For me, the inclusion of white grapes, or a white grape in this case, it takes something that is normally just red berry fruit forward, and it adds a citrusy component, right? So white wine, when you think about it, has more citrus than red wine. So when you add a little bit of Chardonnay, in this case, I forget, 17%, which is quite a bit.
A decent amount.
You get citrus, whereas you also can pair that with, fruit.
Sure.
And so you think of like something like cranberry sauce, like the reason cranberry sauce may be there in a meal in the first place is to add some sort of fruity component to everything we had just named food-wise. So this, I think, it has a little bit more body than what we're used to for chilled reds. You'll see a lot of Pinots and things like that typically. But this one with Cab and Zin, they're fruity and they're sort of jammy, but chilled.
It's yummy.
Light
it's really
tannin.
Yummy.
Yummy is a really good word to use.
I feel like you're right. That could really span a whole meal, whether it's appetizer, charcuterie, all the 100%. Way through like a pasta dish or whatever.
Yeah, it has some tannin, right? So it can stand up to something that's a little fatty. It has acidity. There's even a slight like savory quality because the Cabernet, there's like an olivey sort of note. It's not dominant by any means, but it's complex for what it is. And that again, 12.5% alcohol. So
I certainly would drink it. So.
Yeah, right?
So crowd pleaser.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I would recommend that. It goes, even like things like pumpkin pie and like through the whole meal, it would definitely stand up.
Awesome. And the thing I like about both of these, I think when you bring something to somebody who's hosting or you're hosting an event, it's fun to have things that you can talk about, which is great when you come in here because you have so much knowledge. And it's also fun to bring something unique and something thoughtful because sometimes people stop at the grocery store, they grab a bottle of wine and it goes back in the back of the cabinet. And this is like really something that like livens the event. So I think you guys should all come down to Little Victory Market, pick something up for your holiday parties. We're going to show you around the market a little bit so you can check out what else they have. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Jeremy.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.